you. Sean Phillips with us tonight, Head of Health and Social Care at the think tank Policy Exchange. Sean, what do you think?
Well, I think first and foremost, you can be completely sympathetic to the argument that junior doctors feel undervalued and they do really want improvement to their working conditions. But the nub of this really is the scale of the demands that are being made by the BMA and also the nature of the action being proposed. So just turning to the pay question, and I think actually the PrEP example is a helpful one here. You know, when you drill down to the detail, the amount of pay being discussed, the sort of £14 an hour figure, is relevant only to the most junior of junior doctors, i.e. those that are in the first year of the 2-year foundation programme. So that's what you move into after medical school, so-called F1s. And that's just under 10%. It's about 9% of junior doctors, so 6,500 of the 71,000 total. And then just after, 12 months later, the average junior doctor will be earning on average what an assistant or general manager at PrEP earns. So the reality of pay prospects, I think, is a key part of the discussion here. And then on top of that, there's the issue of comparing with a public sector organisation with a private sector one, etc. So I think that the key thing here is the nuance is important, and one of the reasons why the negotiation, or in some cases the lack of, has been so difficult here is the distance between the two sides.
But so what do you think a doctor, be it a junior doctor, is worth, Sean?
Well, again, this is the nuance, right? Because the term junior doctor encompasses everything from an individual who is just out of medical school through to somebody that has got incredible responsibility over 10 years potentially of training, including all the examinations that go with it.
But by year two, junior doctors are doing quite a lot
on the pay.
But
yes, indeed,
by year two,
indeed.
They're doing a lot. They've got a lot of responsibility.
Yes, absolutely. They do have a lot of responsibility. And I think, one of the reasons very, very clearly why junior doctors, ultimately have opted to withdraw their labour over the next 3 days is because that they think there's a mismatch between the efforts they're putting in, the competencies they're expected to demonstrate,
and their
pay. Well, ultimately, I do think pay should be considered. However, I think we should very closely scrutinise the nature of the demand being made, as you say, the 35% on the basis, for instance, my colleague at Policy Exchange, Andrew Gilligan, put out a pretty comprehensive report in January this year, which, for instance, shows that the BMA have been using the Retail Price Index, or RPI, to calculate impact on inflation. Just to be clear, the Office for National Statistics do not use that, and the National Statistician in a review just a couple of years ago said our position on the RPI is clear, and I'm quoting here: "We do not think it is a good measure of inflation and discourage its use. There are other better measures available, and any use of RPI is superior." So the reason why you have to scrutinise that is because essentially the nature of the demand grows if you use that measure.